Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to another Drinking Wine at 9. Why? Because it's 9 o'clock and we be drinking.
For sure.
Of course, my name is Mats, and today I have a very, very special guest all the way from California. His name is Greg Brewer, and he is the winemaker extraordinaire for Brewer-Clifton Wines. Are you kidding? This is going to be such a nice lineup. And before I introduce him, I just wanted everybody in TV land to know that Greg received the 2020 Wine Enthusiast Winemaker of the Year award. Congratulations
Thank you.
on that.
Thank you very much.
Because 2 weeks ago, I had the 2022 recipient, Nicole Hitchcock from J Vineyards. We were drinking a little Pinot, a little Chard, a little Bubbles.
Nice.
So it's an honor for me to be in such company of what I call wine royalty.
Oh, the honor's
Greg,
mine.
Welcome to the table.
Thank you so much.
This is
Thank
all about you, and it's a cold winter's day in Colorado. So let's start. It's your show, so let's.
Awesome. Yeah, so thanks for the opportunity. Nice meeting you all. So we started Brewer-Clifton back in '96. I was 25, 26 years old. We started with $12,000.
Wow.
Always devoted to a little stretch of land in Santa Barbara that we would map called the Santa Rita Hills, which we mapped in the late 90s. The thing that really motivates us is the ocean, right? We're right by the ocean, and the Pacific is our muse. It's our voice, right?
Okay.
So the sand, the wind, the fog, it pulses through all the wines. And by virtue of the fact that I've only worked there for 33 years now, I've never touched a grape outside of Santa Barbara. These wines are reliant on a vocabulary of surrender and vulnerability, and really giving in and trusting that it's all going to work out.
Okay.
Right? Much like a beautiful relationship, right? A spouse, significant other, best friend.
Sure.
You know that person has your back, and so the wines are raised that way.
Okay.
So
I like that.
yeah, so the Chardonnay, Santa Rita Hills,
Absolutely.
22. Barrel fermented. The barrels are super old. They're 10 to 30 years old.
Wow.
So no flavor at all. It's very simplistic. It's very elementary. Barrel fermented. We don't disturb the yeast at all.
Right.
The wine doesn't really go through mellow. Very, very simple. What I love about Santa Rita, and I think about this all the time, 4 main words: lemon, lime, salt, margarita. Yeah.
Okay.
The wines transmit this kind of voice of place that way. The saline, citrusy, pithy element.
Right. I like that.
Yeah. Right. And it's cool. What's neat about it is it's not like lemon lime sour. Like not cool.
It's not like a Sauv Blanc.
No. It's like it's got a little more give. It's got a little more curvature. Right. It's like this lemon oil, lemon meringue, key lime pie thing.
Sure.
But salted. Yeah. Like a margarita. So
I like the essence of purity, the finesse, the elegance. It's not your Butterbomb.
well, not at all. And no disregard for that style. That aesthetic is also cool. Ours is more subtractive.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think, you think about lemon and salt, wine's a condiment. Yeah? So whatever lemon and salt go with food-wise, this wine rocks. It's a no-brainer.
So you would pair this with shellfish and oysters,
anything,
and crab,
chicken, tofu, whatever.
Potato chips.
Potato chips. Yeah, for sure. Tater tots.
Oh,
yeah.
I like that.
Overly salted, overly cooked tater tots.
Sure.
99 cents later in this wine, you're stoked out of your mind. You'll love it.
And it's just a beautiful, well-crafted wine.
Thank you.
This first time that I'm actually tasting this, and as everybody knows, Miss Sheila already has them on sale, so come on down. Which brings us to your second wine. We're alternating, people, red, white, and we're on to the Pinot.
It's like a candy cane.
Yeah.
I love alternating. It's like a pool and a jacuzzi for me. So never feel fettered by wine color and wine sequence, right? There's no need to go white to red, right? It's just a different color of a grape.
Sure.
And I think you can really have different dynamics in an evening or in a dining situation, cocktail party. If you go back and forth, I think you're more acute to the situation. So with red wine, something a little bit unique here is we ferment with stems. Okay.
The stems,
yeah,
the hips.
Yeah, so the whole thing, a whole clusters are raised together. The reason for so doing is that the stems corset the fruit. They lift up the fruit a little bit. There's a faint botanical aromatic in the wine.
Sure.
And the structure, because we don't work with any new oak in anything that we do, the structure, the architecture in the wine is from the stems participation. So it's a dry, tea-like kind of tannin in the mouth,
it's very rustic to me. It's not quite Burgundian, but it has flair. It has that sage dynamic, that black walnut, black tea element. And it's just really well balanced.
Yeah, cool. Thank you. Yeah, I see it like a sear on a protein, like the stems just compartmentalize and they fetter the generous fruit that we have. And because of those elements you mentioned, think about those with food again, right? If something is predominantly fruit driven, it's beautiful. But the savory thing, the tea thing, the botanical thing, the walnut thing, think about that harmonizing and like unlocking corridors with food. That's the turn on for me too. Yeah.
I like it because it's not rooty tooty, sweet and fruity. It has structure. And granted, Thanksgiving came and went, but it would have paired beautifully with anything on the table.
Anything, yeah.
And I think it could still pair beautifully with anything on any upcoming holiday table or just...
Or any table, anytime. Yeah, I mean, Pinot's Pinot, right? It goes with everything. And I just think, you know, from an epic Pinot growing region like Santa Rita, raised in this very primitive, elementary way, it conveys that voice of nature, I think, for me, in the ocean, which is important. Yeah.
I'm getting a little hickory, a little mesquite, a little barbecue.
That's not derivative from oak. That's the turn on, right? So we're finding that componentry from the cluster itself. It's inherent in the grapes and the stems, right? That's the cool part, right? It's not introduced from outside. We're exploiting it from within what we grow.
Very nice.
Yeah,
very
thanks.
nice. Wine number 3, back to another beautiful Chardonnay. This is a staff favorite. Go ahead.
Diatom. Yeah, so we started this 20 years ago, inspired by the plankton fossil we have, diatomaceous earth is called, in our neighborhood. I wanted something very skeletal, very prehistoric, very oceanic, kind of empty and solitary in its own way, and also luxurious. I didn't want just like shrieky, you know, I wanted like luxury and decadence, but done crazy clean, like sashimi or crudo, right?
I like that.
And so that's the motivation here. So one of our vineyards, very exuberant fruit, very explosive, very dynamic fruit, done as clean as we possibly can.
I think it's very linear and very dry, crisp, and well crafted.
Yeah, thank you.
So let me ask you this, as a winemaker, what is your driving force? What is your inspiration for making such good wine?
For this, it's really a question of minimalism and transparency and vulnerability.
So less is more.
Always.
Okay.
Right? I'm really inspired by Japan. I'm inspired by certain artists, musicians, where it's the words not spoken, the components out of a plate.
Let the wine speak for itself.
And allow nature to be beautifully imperfect, which it is, right? There's no overcoming of anything. It's like you trust it's going to be okay. And it's the Japanese term is wabi-sabi, the beauty of imperfection. So, a scarf out of place, a note deliberately out of tune, a wrinkle in something, like that's the turn on, right? If it's deliberately there and it's supposed to be there and you don't do anything to overshadow it, that's the underlying message of all these wines.
And you're making it work. And for those people who are going to visit Argonaut, you'll see for yourself that these wines are so impressive. Bottom line, I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but they're just so dynamic.
Thank you.
Which leads us to the last one. These go by so quickly.
The last one, I know.
I wish I had more time with you, but...
It's all good.
Let's
this is called Ex Post Facto.
Okay.
This is the newest project underneath the umbrella, so to speak, of wines on our campus. So this is Syrah. Syrah is a grape that's overlooked a lot, and it shouldn't be. It's an epic grape. It's a perfect grape in a lot of ways. And I'm like a Chard Pinot guy, right? But I'm super champion of Syrah.
I like it.
It's also whole cluster fermented, and it's grown in a very cold environment in Santa Rita Hills, right? So sandy, it's breathy, it's lifted, it's pretty, like white pepper, blue flower kind of thing going on. The stems exaggerate that even more. Epic with any kind of holiday fare. And what's interesting is that, if your inclination might be Cabernet or Merlot or Cabernet Franc, those grapes are beautiful. Syrah, especially earlier in its kind of age and bottle, sometimes can offer so much more give and so much more pleasure.
It's my second favorite grape, I should say, because I just love a big, unctuous, over the top, alcohol laden wine. This may or may not be it, but it's pretty tasty.
Yeah, this isn't. Yeah, so it's just this is almost Pinot reminiscent. You know what I mean? It's like it's kind of more. It's like a kind of bigger, more calloused Pinot in some ways. You know what I mean? But it's
a lot of black fruit, black raspberry, black cherry, blackberry,
right?
And everything that you want in a glass for a Syrah is here.
Yeah, cool.
It really is, and I'm so glad that you flown in just to see us at the table at our little studio, because we love having such talented, well-spoken people who represent great wines. And, you know, I make these videos for you, so please take it with you and come on in, because how often, I mean, I love my job. How often do I get to meet winemakers and just, this is my job. This is what I do. And I'm so honored and humbled that you're here showcasing these wines.
Thank you.
So, Greg, thank you for making the trip.
Of course.
And
Thanks for having me.
happy holidays. I hope you stay warm, because I hope to see everybody at the Argonaut in the near future. And if you have any questions, please, you know, don't hesitate. So, Greg, thank you again for visiting,
so much.
and we'll see everybody soon.
Come on down.
Cheers.